Gridiron Central is sponsored by Georgia Northwestern Technical College, Riverside Automotive Group, Gridiron Central.
Welcome to Gridiron Central Scoreboard Show. It is the first night of the playoffs. We entered the 2012 playoffs with 10 teams, and if you're a bit squeamish and don't like to see our local teams lose, you might want to turn it off right now because only 3 of our teams made it through the night unscathed. That means 7 lost. We start with our winners to begin with. Calhoun 42, Wesleyan 10. Yellow Jackets keep on keeping on. No big surprise here. Calhoun ranked number 1 in Class AA. This is their 15th straight home playoff victory, their 26th straight win. Calhoun with the 42-10 win, they are going to advance to the second round next week. They will play host to Washington Wilkes, who laid a beat down on Bowden 66-28 on Friday night. In Class 4A, another winner, Ridgeland 45, Washington 21. The Panthers pull away in the second half after a fairly close first half. Ridgeland is going to advance to the second round. They will host LaGrange, who had an absolute score fest against Chestatee tonight, winning that game 59-46. Again, Ridgeland at home next week. And the shock of the evening, in my humble opinion, that is, Rockmart 34, Appling County 33. Rockmart records its first playoff victory since the late 1980s. They will travel to Carver of Columbus next week. Of course, Carver is ranked number 2 in Class AAA. If you thought playing Appling County was tough, Carver's going to be a lot tougher next week. Now, if you don't like hearing about local teams losing, cut us off. The rest are losses. In Class 5A, Gainesville 41, Rome 14. The Wolves finished the season at 8-3. One interesting note in this, the Rome's region mates all won their first round games. Allatoona, East Paulding, and North Paulding pulled a big upset over Flowery Branch. Rome, however, finishes the season 8-3, third straight year with Rome losing in the first round of the playoffs. In AA, Westminster 34, Pepperell nothing. We have highlights from this game on PrepCentralOnline.com. We will not have them in the show. Of course, obviously, as you can probably guess, most of the highlights were from Westminster. Dragons finished the season at 6-5. Lovett 27, Coosa nothing. Eagles finished the season at 4-7. Remember, this Coosa team was at 0-5 midway through the season. Rallied late, got into the playoffs. They're a very young team. Be interesting to see what they do in the offseason, how well they come back next year. Greater Atlanta Christian 35, Model 6. Model avoided the goose egg. Model finishes the season 6-5. This is the Blue Devils' first winning season since 1999, and crazily enough, this is only their second winning season in the last 30 years. Kudos for the Blue Devils for getting to the playoffs. Kudos to the Blue Devils for having a winning season. Moving to AAA now, North Oconee 37, Ringgold 14. The Tigers were the number 4 seed out of their region, could not get it done on the road. Morgan County 24, Gordon Central 21. The Warriors on the road at Morgan County had the ball inside the red zone with time running out, but 2 penalties and a fumble proved to be the Warriors' downfall. They lose by 3 points. The Warriors finish 8-3 this season. Hart County 32, Adairsville 11. Even the home field advantage was not enough for Adairsville. The Tigers are going to finish 7-4 on the season. Keynote about the Tigers, very young team. They made the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see how they progress over the offseason and what they look like next year. And those are our 10 teams. 3 winners, 7 losers. After the commercial break, we'll break it down just a little bit more.
your future at Georgia Northwestern Technical College. We offer degrees, diplomas, and certificates in over 200 programs of study. Choose a career in business, health, industrial, or public service. With the flexibility of day, evening, and online classes at any of our 5 campus locations, getting your education at GNTC has never been more convenient. There are many financial aid options available, including student loans. Apply now. Georgia Northwestern Technical College. Your college, your town, your future.
You just heard from our sponsors, Georgia Northwestern Technical College and Riverside Automotive Group. We'd like to thank them each and every show for helping us bring this show to you. Now, Calhoun came into tonight looking for their 15th straight home playoff win, 26th straight win in a row. Wesleyan visiting. Here are the highlights.
I thought our kids really came to play. We were well prepared, and I thought they were very focused during the week. And it's playoff time. You got to expect the best from the team you're playing in the playoffs. And I just thought we came out and took care of business. I thought we were clicking on all cylinders offensively, and defensively we played well. I told the people that Wesleyan's got a good football team, had a good quarterback to throw it around. But after that first series, I really think we got a feel for the game and really played a lot better defensively.
Well, pretty confident about it. Last year I was nervous going into the playoffs. The big teams were playing, but came in this year to the playoffs and we got step 1 done. So.
Welcome back. You just saw highlights of Calhoun's 42-10 win over Wesleyan. Calhoun is starting to look like Calhoun should. Of course, they've been looking like that the whole year, but once you get to the playoffs, it is a different ball game. We had some questions about Calhoun's defense coming in. I don't think those questions are completely answered yet because they haven't played a really quality opponent. Well, not saying Wesleyan's not a quality opponent, but they haven't played the quality opponent like they're going to play in a couple of weeks with possibly Brooks County. Next week, Washington Wilkes, who scored a lot of points against Bowden. It could be a very interesting game there. We'll see how Calhoun's defense handles that. Of course, that's a Friday after Thanksgiving. Calhoun, of course, as a number 1 seed, will be at home again. 15 straight playoff wins at home. They've won their 26th straight game. This Calhoun team just keeps on going. All you bracket watchers out there, there was almost a major upset. The top half of the bracket, Brooks County had a very close call with Macon County, but they managed to move on. Upper half of that bracket next week, Brooks County will play host to Mary Persons. Of course, if Calhoun wins next week, they'll play the winner of that Brooks County Mary Persons game. If Mary Persons were to win, Calhoun would host. If Brooks County were to win, there will be a coin flip as to which team will host. Of course, Brooks County is down in Quitman, Georgia, way down south. Other games, the other wins to talk about, of course, Rockmart. Huge win. I will be very honest if you told me there was going to be an upset victory tonight, I'm not so sure I would have picked Rockmart at all. I might have actually picked, Coosa or Model over Rockmart in that game. But the key thing is Rockmart They have the athletes, even going on the road all the way down to Appleton County. That is, Baxley, Georgia is not exactly a close trip. Rockmart played really good football. Carver, Columbus happened to go to Columbus, a lot closer than Baxley, Georgia, that's for sure. It'll be very interesting to see how Rockmart handles this. Haven't had a playoff win since the late 80s. I believe I was a sophomore at East Rome High School the last time Rockmart actually won a playoff game. And, of course, Ridgeland looks strong. One of my biggest concerns about Ridgeland going into the playoffs is in previous years it seems like Ridgeland lacked the killer instinct. Didn't lack that tonight. In the second half, they just took off. LaGrange is historically a very, very tough team. Of course, Ridgeland gets to play host to that next week. Again, Friday night. Be very interesting to see, obviously, with Ridgeland there. A lot of people think Ridgeland is good enough to get to the semifinals. For some reason, I can't say that word tonight. Or even further. Obviously, you got to get through LaGrange to get that far. I mentioned there were 10 playoff teams, which was not exactly accurate. There were technically 13 playoff teams coming into tonight. 3 of them did not play because the Class A playoffs don't start until next Friday. Darlington will be at home against Prince Avenue Christian. Tryon and Gordon Lee will both be on the road. Of course, Darlington will be in the private school division of the single A playoffs, while Tryon and Gordon Lee will be in the public school division of the single A playoffs. Remember, a lot of the public schools got together, whined and complained because they thought the private schools were big and bad and I guess stealing their lunch money. So they separated into two different public and private for the state championships. We'll have coverage of those next week. Something else to mention. Normally, our preview show is every Wednesday except Thanksgiving week. We all like to eat turkey here. We all tend to travel home to various locations. Monday at 11 o'clock, preview show. We will preview our 6 playoff games. Matt Davis will be back in studio with me. We'll be talking about the games. Who has the best chance to win? Will there be another huge upset like we had this week with Rockmart, or will we see another bloodletting this week like we saw with 7 of our teams ended up losing? You'll have to tune back in on Wednesday for that. Of course, don't forget to check out PrepCentralOnline.com. Video highlights from Pepperell's game against Westminster, Adairsville's game, and of course Calhoun's victory. Also, articles and photo slideshows, all the good stuff. Make sure you come back with us on, remember, Monday for the preview show. Until then, for Kevin Myrick, Austin Wiggins, I'm Jim Allred saying we'll see you at the preview show on Monday.
Is sponsored by Georgia Northwestern Technical College, Riverside Automotive Group,